Getting sober is one thing, but staying sober is another. And that's where training comes in. I truly believe if you're going to drop one addiction, you need to swap it for another. But that doesn't mean that it has to be negative. And I'll tell you this, the thing that's changed my life the most has been consistent training, getting my nutrition in check, and then building a daily structure that actually served me. You see, before this, I was a career criminal for a decade of my life. I smoked weed absolutely every single day. I ate whatever I felt like, whenever I felt like it. And that was kind of a reflection of my life. I was just so impulsive. I did whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. And, not having a structure, of course, at the time, it's great. But then you realize when you try and achieve anything, you've got no foundation to build from. And, every time I would try to get sober, I'd relapse very quickly because the dopamine that I was getting from smoking weed, from drinking, from doing all the bullshit, that was now gone. And, then you're just bored. All your mates are doing this and you're at home watching fucking TV and you just think this is shit. And then, of course, you're going to relapse because the dopamine that you were getting is now gone. So check this out. I built myself a daily operating system, and that daily operating system was constructed around training, nutrition, and building myself into the man that I wanted to become. In my mind, I got a very vivid picture of exactly who I wanted to be, and then I wrote out exactly what he would do every day, how he would train, how he would eat, and I just started acting like that from that day. I literally got so clear on it that it was like a blueprint for me to follow. And this is exactly what I do for all of my clients when they join. We get crystal clear on the goal, we create the daily operating system, and then I hold them accountable to that daily operating system, because the only way that you're ever truly going to change is by becoming your ideal. You don't become the ideal and then get the results. You get the results by becoming the ideal. There was a great quote that I heard, and it said, before you do it physically, you got to do it mentally. And if you look at all the top athletes in the world, they mentally rehearse what they're going to do before they do it. And that's where the visualization comes in each morning. I literally live as my ideal in my mind for 5 minutes. So I see how the world reacts to that version of me, how I treat myself, how I speak to myself, how I eat, how I train, how I live. And then I take that into the day moving forward. Because without all of those things, I know with my hand on my heart that I would still be doing the exact same thing that I was doing. And there's no chance that I would have ever changed. And I wouldn't have even ever thought like this to be able to help anybody else, because I repeated that cycle for 10 fucking years. Like 10 years is a long time. That's a third of my life that I did the exact same thing every single day. And those habitual patterns were just so deeply ingrained in me that changed. It felt like self-betrayal a lot of the time. And then again, when I got into the training properly, I'd always trained on and off, but when I got into it properly and I stopped thinking that everything else was more fun, and I actually started seeing physical results and changing my physique for the first time, that was such an incredible feeling, because you treat yourself differently, you look at yourself differently, your self-concept starts to shift, and then you also see that other people treat you very differently as well. And of course, that's always going to be a bearing on what we do. As a man, one of the biggest things that you can do to have status is have a fit, strong body. Like if you look physically imposing, you've already stopped half of the problems that you're going to have in your life from other men and from being rejected by women. And I see so many guys, when I go to the gym, I see so many guys and they're there every day like I am. Well, not every day, 5 days a week like I am. And, I've been seeing this one guy, he's been training since Christmas, 5 days a week consistently or more. I only know that because I'm there 5 days a week. And this guy looks exactly the fucking same and he still looks bad. And I think to myself, I know this is because you're not controlling everything that you do outside of the gym. And this is why I want to make it explicitly clear that just training isn't enough. Just training isn't going to create the physique that you want. You need to truly live as the ideal version of yourself and embody that identity so purely that of course you would get their results. Other than that, you're not going to change. You know, the nutrition in terms of the way your physique looks, that's like 70%, you know, because I've seen guys, they train till they're blue in the face, they're always doing the cardio, but then they're undoing all of their work outside of the gym. They're sleeping poorly, they're not recovering properly, no supplementation probably where they need it. And then, of course, they're overeating and they're looking fucking soft. So here's the thing. Once you get all of those areas on lock, you're going to see an entirely different reality, because your daily process is going to build you every day. There's no more decision fatigue. So here's the hack. Create the daily operating system. Live as that man. Train as that man. Eat as that man. Think as that man. Live as that man. And you're going to see your entire reality shift in 90 days. I literally promise you, it is that simple. And if you want help doing this one-to-one with me, click the link below. And if you're a good fit for the team, we'll get to work.